What's up guys, I'm Marco about Self-Knowledge Solutions, and today we're talking about Call of Duty Warzone Season 3 Reloaded. Now yes ladies and gentlemen, this video is for every single person out there. Doesn't matter if you're a low-end user, medium-end user, high-end user, to a NASA fucking launching nuclear missiles machine. It doesn't matter what you are running. This is for all users out there, Windows 10, Windows 11. This is for people out there that's playing Warzone that needs an FPS boost guide, and for overall a smoother gameplay experience. Now all you're going to need to do is follow my guides from the beginning to the end of this video and you should be good to go. And if this worked for you, smash the like button. Let's jump straight into this video. Alright ladies and gentlemen, so the first thing I highly recommend you go ahead and do is you're going to go to your config file, which plays the most important role in Call of Duty. It doesn't matter if you're a low-end user, medium-end user to a high-end user. I did this myself and I don't class myself as a high-end user, but I do have high-end parts. Okay, so I highly recommend you go to your config file, which is you go to your file explorer like this, go to documents, and then go to Call of Duty, and then go to your players folder, and then go to options 4.cod23, right click on it and say open with the notepad, so you can actually edit the stuff inside this file, and then open it up, and then go like this and have it big like this. Now there's a few things you're going to change and a few things that you're not going to tweak. Okay, if you tweak a couple of things inside you, it might break your game, so that's why I don't tweak it. But there's things inside you that I highly recommend you go ahead and tweak, and please go ahead and do so. Now I get a lot of questions in my comment section down below saying, yo dude, I'm new to computers, I don't know what CPU I'm running, I don't know what GPU I'm running, I don't know what I'm running in general, so what do I put inside here, or whatever the case might be, especially here by the threaded count handling the job queue. So that's your threads. All right, so this is how you do this. You go to your taskbar here at the bottom. All right, you right click on it and go to task manager and go to performance. Click on your CPU and it will tell you the exact CPU that you are running. Now I'm running a 14700K, and then as I go down to memory, I am running 32 gigs of 6000 megahertz RAM. And if I scroll down, I go to my GPU, I'm running an RTX 4070 Super. Basically, that is my components, that is what I'm running, so you can see what you are running just by doing this. Go into the performance and actually see what your machine is and what your machine can do, right? Now, you'll know what your machine can do by the components that you have, okay? What it's capable of doing. Being a low tier, being a mid tier, or being a high tier, or being like a NASA fucking launching nuclear missile machine like a 4090 or whatever the case might be. You get my point, you get my drift, you get it. Now this is how you see it. For the people out there that's brand new to computers, this is how you see it. So if you go to CPU, to actually tell you your cores and to actually tell you your threads. Okay, so now I have 28 threads. Now this is something you're going to need to change. Now in general, when you relaunch Call of Duty, or if you install Call of Duty, it will give you a random number over here where it says render a work account. It will give you a random number. Now you're going to put your total threads inside here. Please go ahead and do so. Now as you can see, mine was 28. I'm not going to put 28 inside here because it will physically not function correctly. The reason why I'm saying that is because the highest value is 16. So if you have anything that has more than 16 threads, or it has 16 threads, go put 16 inside here. If you have 8 threads, you put 8 inside here. If you have 4 threads, you have to put 4 inside here. I don't know what if people are still running 4-thread CPUs. I don't know this, but I'm guessing most people still run 8 and 16 like this. So that's what you're going to put it at. You're going to put it 8 or 16. That's what most people are running. If you are running a 4, put a 4 there. That's what you're going to need to do. The highest value, yet again, ladies and gentlemen, is 16. Please do not go over this. If you have more threads and you see your CPU has like 28 threads or whatever the case might be, or it has more, please do not put that value in here because the highest value is 16. Okay, now this is something I just want to point out to a lot of people out there, is this one over here. As you can see, it says 0.8. Now that is 80% on the VRAM scale inside the game. Please don't tweak this, leave this as is. I know before you could actually take this, copy like that, and put it inside here. Just do that, highlight that like this, and then press Ctrl and V and put it inside there. So this value goes to there, then it actually doubles the VRAM of your GPU. Not exactly, but it will basically try and double your VRAM. So it will confabulate Call of Duty to think that you have more VRAM on your GPU. But please don't do this, because this is becoming a problem where people are actually trying this and trying to get away with it, but you can't, because Call of Duty has figured out if you do this, they're just going to be like, nope, let's just make your game run like dog shit. So please don't change this value, leave this value as is. Okay, now something that's very, very important is this one over here. where it says version of the last display driver used to run the game, basically. So as you can see here, I have 552.22, and then it says recommended driver version is 537. Okay, that's the recommended driver for Call of Duty, and they recommend this for you to go and download and install. You can literally just type in Nvidia driver download with this driver, just copy that driver and go download and install it and have it installed on your machine. But I'll go over that. I don't recommend it at this very moment. I recommend the latest driver. Please be on the latest driver. It's kind of the best thing to be on right now. And obviously it will tell you what GPU you are running. And now, ladies and gentlemen, something I just want to mention is this over here. Please make sure that this is on true. Do not have that at false. Have this at true as well, and also have this at true as well. A lot of people are saying that you should put this at false and it will give you more FPS. It actually does not. It actually gives you stuttering in the game, and you do not want stuttering. A lot of people complain about stuttering, so please don't go ahead and change that. Leave this values as is. Now, something I just want to mention as well is I can't scroll down and go to, like, you know, the skeletons and the blood and all that kind of shit by changing the values there and making it lower. I don't recommend doing it there. I actually recommend doing it in the game itself, instead of doing it through the config file. Because if you do something wrong in the config file, it can actually physically break your game and make your game run unstable, and you don't want an unstable game. Please don't do too much to the config file. You can fuck up the entire game for yourself, and you are going to sit with problems, crash errors, dev errors, DirectX errors, black screen errors, or your game just crashes to the desktop with no error whatsoever. So please don't just tweak random stuff that people are telling you to tweak. Please don't do that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, once you have changed everything that you needed to change inside here, just go to the file over here, click on save, and you can close out of this, and you can close out of this. All right, let's jump straight into the next step. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so the next step I highly recommend you go ahead and do is this over here, and it just came out today. So you're going to come to your GeForce Experience. If you have GeForce Experience, just open it up. If you have an Nvidia card, make sure that you have your graphics card drivers on the latest version. Now, as you can see, I need to go ahead and download this one. It literally just came out today, and I'm talking about literally it came out today. As I'm speaking, it came out today, this driver version, which is 552.44. Now, I'm on the previous version, and it's been running perfectly fine, so I have not downloaded this one yet. I have not downloaded this one yet. I have this one installed currently, as you can see. I have not downloaded this one yet. I haven't tested it yet, okay? So I am on this one. This is the one that I'm running, and my game runs perfectly fine, just to let you know. But to be honest with you, just be on the latest driver. I'm pretty sure if I download this one, my game will run perfectly fine as well. Just be on the latest graphics card drivers. Please go ahead and do so. If you're one of the unlucky people where you have to be on a specific driver, then just be on that specific drive. Just be on the specific driver and you'll be fine and you'll be good to go. Now, this applies for the same for AMD users. If there's a certain AMD driver that you need to run for your game to run perfectly, to run optimal, to make your game run smooth, good FPS, then be on that drive. It doesn't mean you need to be on the latest drive, like I said, okay? My game runs perfectly fine with the one that's basically before this. So I run my game perfectly fine. But I highly recommend, like I said, please go ahead and download the latest graphics card drivers for your GPU itself, and please go ahead and do so. All right, let's jump straight into the next step. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so the next step I highly recommend you go ahead and do, and it plays a very big role on your machine to find out if there is any corrupt files on your machine itself, and it will automatically fix it for you. You're going to come to the search button over here and type in CMD, and then just make sure that you right click on here and say run an administrator, because if you just open it up, it's going to say user. You don't want it to say user. You want it to say this over here, so you say yes to this, and it will say C Windows System 32. Now, I'm just going to make an example for you. If I do that again, and I type in CMD, and I just open this up normally, like that, it will say C, user, and then my name. Now, I don't want it to do that. You want it to do this over here. You go to this, CMD, right-click on it, run as administrator, and then say yes to it. Open up the command prompt like this, SFC spacebar / scan now, one word, and then press enter. Now what this will do is it will run through your entire C drive and find out if you have corrupt files for Windows, and it will automatically fix it for you. This plays a very big role on your machine itself. Doesn't matter if you're running a laptop, a desktop computer, it doesn't matter. Windows 10, Windows 11, it doesn't matter. Please go ahead and do this scan. It's free to do, and it's easy and simple to do, and to find out if you have corrupt files, and Windows will automatically fix it for you. Now I don't want to press enter and show you how this goes through this whole process because it takes quite some time, and I don't want to make this video too long because I know this video is going to end up being quite some time in anyways, so I don't want to make this too long. Just scan your machine and see if it's okay, see if it's in good health, see if everything's all right on your machine and everything's running correctly. All right, let's jump straight into the next step. All right, so the next step is very important. Please go to your start button over here and go to settings, and then go to gaming, and then go to game mode. Make sure that your game mode is turned on right now for Season 3 Reloaded. Please go ahead and have it on. Go to graphics settings over here and make sure that your hardware accelerated GPU scheduling is turned on as well for Season 3 Reloaded. It needs to be on, okay? I turned this off, tested the game. I actually get, for some reason, micro stutters while I have it off. Okay, so this is just my experience, but for you guys not to have this happen to you, have this on. Leave it on so you don't get micro stutters. Okay, so I tested a bunch of shit before I made this video, and that's what I do. I do FPS boost guides as best I can to help the community as best I can. Ladies and gentlemen, all you can do is leave a fucking like, leave a comment down below, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new here. It would really mean a lot to me. And leave me feedback down below if this actually worked for you. Because it takes a lot of time and dedication making these fucking videos for you guys. It really fucking does. I constantly have to change settings, then restart my game, restart my shaders, relaunch my game. Then basically change settings, then change my shaders again, install my shaders again, relaunch the game, constantly over and over and over and over and over and over. So it's a lot of shit that I need to do to find out what's the best settings for this fucking game and the best settings for your Windows to run at its best for Call of Duty. So motherfuckers, please leave a like down below and smash the fucking like button, leave a comment down below and leave a comment saying GigaChat is back. That will mean much to me. If this helped you, leave your feedback down below. It really means a lot to me. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would like me to optimize your PC for you, you can just email me right there. I do charge a service fee because it actually do take time out of my day to fix your computer for you. If you're having any issues, just email me right there and I can get back to you. All right, from here, you're going to go to the home button and you're going to come to privacy and scroll all the way down like this and go to background apps. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you are a Windows 11 user, you have to individually disable these things inside here, okay? Background apps. I'm not going to show you how to do this because I'm not a Windows 11 fan. I've never been a Windows 11 fan because Windows 10 is at its peak, and I love how Windows 10 runs and how it just functions in general. I have a lot of people that I know that runs Windows 11 that runs their games perfectly fine, and then I have a lot of people on the other hand that runs Windows 11 and their games run like dog shit. It's because of Windows itself, okay? Now, yes, Windows 11 is doing updates and stuff like that, so I will eventually move over to Windows 11, but I actually don't give a fuck about Windows 11 right now. Windows 10 took a very long time to get to where it needs to be right now, and this is where it is. It's at its best. It's at its peak of Windows, okay? So that's why I don't run Windows 11. So if you're going to leave a comment down below saying, yo, dude, this guy doesn't even run Windows 11, you can go fuck yourself, honestly. I don't give a fuck. I make FPS boost guide videos for a living, and this is what I do, all right? So Windows 10 over Windows 11, I would take any fucking day, all right? So that's just my opinion. Everyone has their own fucking opinions, so cool, whatever. All right, now, this is something I highly recommend you go ahead and do, is turn this the fuck off. For Windows 10 users, please just do this. You're going to come here and switch this off. So all of these programs don't run in the background while you are playing Call of Duty. Now, Call of Duty is an unoptimized game and runs like dog shit. Now, all of these things are going to run in the background if you have it on. And then you are going to lose, for instance, performance because these things are running in the background using VRAM, RAM, CPU usage, your GPU usage, and it also uses your physical drive usage, your read and write speeds while you are playing the game, especially if the game is on this physical drive, your Windows drive, like the C drive, and you only have one drive. Ladies and gentlemen, just understand this. The more stuff you have open on your computer, the most likely your game's gonna run like dog shit. So turn the background apps off. Everything that's open, turn it the fuck off, okay? All right, from here, you're gonna go to the home button and you're gonna come inside here. Now, something I just want to recommend to people as well, please go ahead and do this. Click on the Windows Update button. I know a lot of people skip this and they don't do this, or they don't do this as often, but you're gonna need to do this at least once a week, or at least once 2 weeks, or whatever the case might be, just please at least go check for updates for your Windows. It doesn't matter if you're Windows 10, doesn't matter if you're Windows 11, please go check for updates. There's a brand new update that I need to go and download right now, and it's installing it already. Please do this. You need to do this. If Call of Duty releases new stuff, you need to be on the latest drivers for everything. For Windows, your graphics card drivers, make sure that Call of Duty is up to date. You see, it's asking me for a restart. I'm not going to do that right now, but I'll do that once I'm done with my video. All right? Please go ahead and update your Windows. You fucking need to do these things. If you don't do it, Call of Duty is eventually just going to run like dog shit, and you're going to wonder why. Now, please just follow my guidelines and you should be good to go. I can promise you this. Ladies and gentlemen, I can promise you. Follow my guidelines and you should be good to go. All right, let's jump straight into the next step. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so the next step I highly recommend you go ahead and do is these 3 steps right here. Please go ahead and do it. It's very, very important to go ahead and do to keep your Windows just running perfectly fine is these 3 steps right here. Try and do this every week. When you do your Windows updates and check for updates, do this as well. Press the Windows key and R, and if anything is inside there, just delete it and type in temp, T-E-M-P, and press enter. And you're going to click on anything inside here, Control and A to highlight everything, and then press delete on your keyboard, do this all kind of items, and say continue. Delete everything that's inside there, do this all kind of items, and say try again. If it doesn't delete it, go to do this all kind of items, and say skip, because Windows is currently using these files over here, and I can't cancel. I have to cancel because I can't delete them, because Windows is physically using these files. I can't delete it. It's like trying to delete Windows while you're still on it, if you get what I mean. Trying to dumb this down as easy as I can. All right, next one is going to be the Windows key and R again. This time you're going to put a percentage symbol in front of the P just by pushing Shift and 5, and then go to the T, so in front of the T, Shift and 5, and then press enter. So it's going to be percentage, temp, percentage, and press enter. Click on anything inside here, especially this dumb motherfucker right here, and then press Control and A, and then delete on your keyboard. Do this all current items, and then say try again. Now, do this all current items, and then say skip, and then there you go. All of these things, yet again, is running on my computer, and I physically can't delete them. Close out of this, and then it's going to be one more that you're going to need to do. Press the Windows key and R, and you're going to type in prefetch like this, just like that, and press enter. It's going to ask you to continue. Just continue. Click on anything inside here, Control and A, highlight everything, and say delete. Do this all current items, and say try again, and then say do this all current items, and say skip, because Windows can't delete these files because it's currently being used through my computer. All right, now, something that you're going to need to do is, I have to move this on my other screen. I'm just going to move this on my other screen. Right click on your recycling bin, say empty recycling bin, and say yes. Now, it will ask you something like this. Just say continue, and it will delete all the temporary files on your machine that's clogging up your machine, and then it's just basically bloatware that you don't need on your machine at all. I'm going to move this from my other screen to my other one. And then there we go. All right, let's jump straight into the next step. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so something that's very, very important, and I highly recommend you go ahead and do this, and please do this. If your machine looks like this is something you're going to need to do immediately. It is very, very important for your computer. All right, you're going to click on File Explorer and go to this PC like this, and go to your C drive. If your C drive is in the red, please go ahead and free up some space. Please go ahead and do that. You need to physically do that. If your drive is in the red, your machine will not function correctly and it will slow down. It reads and write speeds will slow down. And especially if you have Call of Duty on that same drive, Call of Duty is going to then run like dog shit. Not just that, your Windows itself is going to run like dog shit. Please have it in the blue. Most likely have all your drives in the blue, preferably, but like I said, your C drive is the most important drive because Windows is on there. Now, it's very easy to do this. You just close out of this, go to Start, go to Settings like this, and then go over here where it says Apps, and then just go ahead and delete anything inside you, like single player games that you don't play, or whatever the case might be. Just don't delete these things. These are things for Windows. Don't delete Windows things, like just single player games or unnecessary programs or whatever the case might be. Just get rid of the bloatware on your machine. Get rid of all the bullshit that's installed on your machine that makes your drive go into the red. Please go ahead and do that, okay? And you should be good to go. I can promise you that you should be good to go. Another thing you can go ahead and do is go to startup like this and make sure that you have all the nonsense turned off that doesn't need to start up once you boot your computer. For instance, Steam shouldn't be opening on itself. and other stuff shouldn't be opening on itself. I have MSI Center because this actually runs my computer for me. It runs it like this. It's my system itself and everything that I'm running over here. All right, so now I have done a little bit of an overclock on my CPU, and yeah, she is doing about 5.5 gigahertz right now, and that is just to get more performance out of my CPU in general, but that's my own thing for my own computer, my own personal preference. All right, so now once you are done with this, you can close out of this. All right, let's jump straight into the next step. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so the next step I highly recommend you go ahead and do is this over here. If you are an Nvidia user like me, open up Nvidia control panel, just right click on your desktop and open up Nvidia control panel, just like this, and come to adjust image settings with preview and use the advanced 3D image settings and click on this and click on take me there. It's basically just going to take you to manage 3D settings. And as you can see, I have a few things over here that is different to yours. Now just make sure that you copy everything I have inside here and you should be good to go. I can promise you this, you should be good to go. Now, DSR factors is something that you do not need. I used to use it. The reason why I used to use it is because I used to play my game at 4K just to test it out, because I do testings and I do FPS boost guide videos. This is why I have this checked, okay? To check my game and how it runs at 4K. All right, now I'm going to uncheck this. You do not need this, ladies and gentlemen. You can turn it off over here, and then you're going to come down. All right, so from here, you're going to come to this over here where it says OpenGL rendering GPU. Just make sure that you select your graphics card inside here. Do not say auto select. Select your dedicated graphics card that it's plugged into your PCIe slot, and you should be good to go. Power management mode, go to prefer maximum performance. I know a lot of people have a little bit of an issue here where they like, yo, dude, aren't you going to kill your computer? No, I'm not. I'm not going to kill my computer. I've been doing this for fucking years. Honestly, just put it on prefer maximum performance and you should be good to go. If you want the max performance out of your machine and more FPS and a stable gameplay experience, please go ahead and put this on prefer maximum performance. Shader cache size. Now, this used to be a thing in Call of Duty where you go to 100 gigs. Right now, at this very moment, it is driver default, okay? For Season 3 Reloaded, it is driver default. For Season 3 as well, it was also driver default, all right? Here, where it says this over here, I allow it, and then also I have this quality setting at quality. For people out there with, let's say, low-end PCs, go with high performance. If you have a mid-tier machine, go to performance. If you have a high-end machine, go to quality. If you have a NASA machine, go to high quality. I have mine at quality. My game runs perfectly fine with the machine that I'm currently running. You're going to have this off, and you're going to have threaded optimization turned on. Please go ahead and turn these things on. Now, I changed things inside here. Now, you change things inside here. If you went to go ahead and change things inside here, press the apply button. Your screen might flash a couple of times, or your screens might even go completely black, like mine just did now. It's completely black. I can't see jack shit. Even though I'm talking, all my screens went completely black right now. Because Nvidia is now configuring back that I'm using a different type of resolution and I'm not using the 4K upscaling in this setting guide over here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, once you are done with this, you're going to come to config surround and physics and make sure that you have your dedicated graphics card selected. Select it. Do not say auto select. Do not say CPU. Select your dedicated graphics card and say apply if you haven't done this already. From here, you're going to come to adjust desktop color settings and come inside here. Now, something I want to mention is this over here. A lot of people go and change their, for instance, you can do this. You press Control and Z, and then you can do these things where you have like these color filters and game filters, and you can open it up. I'm not in a game right now, so it's unsupported because I'm on my desktop. But you can go with color filters and stuff like that. I highly recommend you don't do that. Please don't do that. It actually decreases performance. It literally decreases performance. I have tested this myself, and I saw that I lose about like 30 to 40 FPS just by changing the gamma correction or making my game look much better. Like, you know, like popping colors like the trees and the enemies and all that. You don't need to do that. You can just do it inside here. Be on your main screen and then come inside here, have your brightness at 50%, leave it at 50%. You change the brightness in the games that you play, not inside here. You go to contrast, 65%, perfect sweet spot. And then digital vibrance is going to be your own personal preference. Now you'll see if you click on image 3 and you take this down, I have mine at 95. If I put it all the way to 0, it is completely black and white. Now Windows comes out where this is at 50. So that is its defaults, is right here. Why the fuck can't I get this at 50? There we go, 50. Right. So this is your defaults. Now when you look at your default Windows configuration, it looks washed out. You don't want that because your game's also going to look washed out. Everything on your screen is going to be washed out. No matter what you do, if you watch YouTube videos, play other games, or whatever the case might be, it's going to be washed out. You don't want that. Now push this up to your own personal preference. Everyone will have their own personal sweet spot. I have mine at 95 because I have 6/6 vision and this can't kill my eyes. Now, for people out there that's wearing glasses, please don't put this at 95%. You are going to fuck up your eyes in the long run. If you put this like this at 95% and you apply these settings like me, where it will now flash a couple of times or whatever the case might be because it's applying the settings, don't have this at 95 if you have very bad eyesight. You can physically fuck up your eyes. I'm trying to like care for the community as well, not just help you with FPS boost, guy. I care about you guys. I honestly really do. So don't put this at 95 if you don't have 6/6 vision, because this can actually give you fucking headaches. Now, please go ahead. If you do have bad eyesight, drop this down a little bit. I would recommend you hit about like 70, around 70 side, or 65, or you can try the highest I would go with bad eyesight is 75. Okay, but all out, this literally is your own personal preference. I can't tell you what to do here. I literally can't tell you what to do here, but I'm just giving you my own advice. From my standpoint, I'm giving you my own advice. So mine's at 95 because I have 6/6 vision and I'm good to go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's jump straight into the game. Let me show you the best settings you can use right now at this very moment for Season 3 Reloaded. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, we are in the game right now, and I'm in the display tab. I'm going to go through the quality tab and the view tab as well. But the display tab also plays a very big role just in general when it comes to this game. Now, I highly recommend, if you're only playing on one screen, to go with full screen exclusive. And if you have multiple screens like me, I highly recommend you play your game in full screen borderless. It's just better overall if you have multiple screens. Go with full screen borderless. A lot of people say that you have to go with full screen exclusive even though you have multiple screens, that you will get less input latency and stuff like that. That is actually not a thing. It might be embedded into your mind, but that is not how this works. This is how this works. If you put this in full screen borderless, you can actually have multiple screens. A lot of streamers and stuff do this, but they put this in full screen borderless because they play their game on their main screen and they have their secondary monitor with like Twitch open, or let's say YouTube open with their comments and their, their chats and whatever the case might be. Professional gamers use full screen borderless. So don't let people tell you that when you have multiple screens, you have to use full screen exclusive. Okay, when you have one screen, then it's perfectly fine to put this at full screen exclusive. Then go ahead, all out, put it at full screen exclusive. Now, something I want to mention is this over here, where it says full screen extended window. A lot of people can actually go ahead and benefit out of this if you have a low tier graphics card and a low tier CPU and low end generation like RAM. You can go ahead and use this. It can actually help you increase FPS in general just by changing this to full screen extended window, or have this in windowed mode. As you can see, it eats less VRAM. At the bottom of my screen, it actually shows that it eats less VRAM. So I highly recommend, if you have a low-end machine, go with windowed mode, and you can actually benefit out of it if you know you have a very low-end machine in general and you're struggling to play this game. Now, like I said, full screen exclusive. If you have one screen, go ahead and do so. If you have multiple screens, go with full screen borderless. Now, as you can see, there's no difference between these two with the VRAM, but if I go here, there's also no difference with the VRAM. For low-end users, please go with windowed mode, and you can upscale and downscale your stuff the way you would like to do so, and you can benefit out of this and get more FPS out of this. Just this option alone can give you a little bit more FPS depending on the machine that you're running. And that's just how this is. All right, let's jump straight into the next step. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so this is something that plays a very big role in the game as well, is the aspect ratio. For instance, if you have an ultra wide screen, then obviously you're going to be using stuff like this. A lot of people don't really know this. If you don't want to go in depth with this, you don't have to. It's very easy to do. You just go to automatic, and Call of Duty will automatically pick up what monitor you're running. If you're running like a gaming monitor, like an ultra wide, then obviously it's going to select this for you. Or you could personally select it, or just go to automatic and have it over there. I run my game at 16:9. All right, now this is an option that we're going to go over. Once we're done with everything, you're going to have to come to this option over here, because it's very, very important to restart the shaders once you have done everything I'm about to show you. But please follow everything I'm about to show you. Display gamma, you're going to put at 2.2 if you're running a display unit, like a laptop screen, a monitor, a gaming monitor, or whatever the case might be. The only reason why you would put this at 2.4 is if you're running this on a TV. Now, the reason why I have this at 2.4 is because I have a 55-inch Samsung Ultra Smart Curve 4K TV, and I actually run my game on this. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, I run my game perfectly fine with this option over here. For you, if you're a dedicated monitor or screen, 2.2 is the option you're going to go for. You just need to open your fucking eyeballs and read what the fuck it says here, and that's all you need to do. It's literally just use your eyes, because I can't make this video in braille, like honestly, like for fuck's sakes. Anyways, just please go ahead and put it at 2.2. All right, brightness, I highly recommend you just go ahead and change it from its default factors, which is like 50, change it to 55 or 60, change the brightness a little bit up. Don't put it over 60, because then the game looks dulled out and it looks kind of shitty, it looks grainy, and it just looks dull in general. Leave it at 55 or 60 is the max I would put it on. All right, constant mouse to game window is a pretty cool feature just in general in COD, because you can enable it and then say apply, then you can't get off of your main screen. All right, now if I disable it, I can go to my other screens. So now I'm on my left hand side screen, and if I go here, I'm on my right hand side screen. Cool, awesome. Now this is just if you want to do that, but while you're in the game, it will not let you just get off to your other screen. You're not going to flick so hard that you're going to go to your other screen. It's not going to happen, so you can leave this off. Like, this option is just, I don't know. They added it for some fuck reason. Who knows? I don't know. Call of Duty in general smokes crack, so I don't give a fuck about this option. Just leave it the fuck off. All right, cool. This over here, I highly recommend you read what the fuck it says on the right hand side here. Yet again, just use your fucking eyeballs. Just literally take your eyes and put it here where my mouse is, right? And read what it says. A lot of people don't understand why you would put this on, for instance, and why you would put it on plus boost. Number one, do not put this off. I repeat, do not put this off. I'm going to say it again. I repeat, do not put this off. Never put it off. It doesn't matter what machine you are running. Low end, mid tier, high tier, NASA fucking launching nuclear missile machine. Don't put this off. It's either going to be on or on plus boost, because your PC will always have a bottleneck somewhere. It doesn't matter what machine you have. You can have the best machine ever possible that you can buy right now for money, and you'll still have a bottleneck happening somewhere on your machine. It's inevitable. It is something that you can't avoid. You will have a bottleneck somewhere. It will either be your GPU, it will either be your CPU, it will either be your RAM, it will either be your latency, it will either be your cache, it could be a lot of things. You will have a bottleneck somewhere. Right. Now, it literally tells you over here, if you are CPU bound cases, you put this on plus boost. If you're GPU bound cases, you put this on. All right, that's just how this works. I don't use this because I overdrive and override this, and I'm going to show you how I do that. In the settings, in the quality tab, I override this, and this automatically then locks itself. Okay, but right now, if you don't have the features I do, please go on plus boost. Leave it at on plus boost, and just like favorite here, and just leave it at on plus boost. Please leave it at on plus boost. All right. Eco mode preset, you're going to leave this at custom. VSync gameplay. Now, this is something that I just want to mention to people out there. If your game is physically tearing apart, screen tearing, it looks like that over there. It literally shows you everything on the right hand side. It tries and explains it to you, but sometimes it doesn't explain it too well, so I'm trying to explain it to you as best I can. This is screen tearing while you are playing the physical game, okay? So if your game is literally screen tearing, then I highly would recommend to turn this on and put it at 100%, okay? If you don't get screen tearing and your game looks like that while you're running around, while you're playing the game, while you're shooting, while you're fighting, whatever the case might be, turn it the fuck off and leave it the fuck off. Right? VSync menus. If you're getting screen tearing while in the menus, then obviously, yet again, 100%. But who the fuck gets screen tearing in their menus? I've never seen anyone get screen tearing in the menus in the first place. I don't know, there might be some, like, I don't know, 1% of people, 2% of people that actually do get this. I don't know this. I don't know every single person that has a computer, so I don't see what they're seeing. So whatever the case might be, if you're getting fucking screen tearing in your menus, 100%. I don't get screen tearings, turn it the fuck off, leave them both the fuck off if you don't get screen tearing whatsoever. Right, custom frame rate limit. Now, I leave mine on unlimited and always left it unlimited. Now, if you want to personalize this, you can go to custom, go over here, and then obviously have this at either, I don't know, if your machine can only do 120 FPS, let's just say that, right? Can only do 120 FPS, and it's the max that it hits, then leave it at 120. Okay, then this over here where it says menu custom frame rate limit, leave this at 60 and leave this at 30. This is if you want to do your own personal shit. I don't do this. I don't need to do this. So I go with unlimited and have unlimited frames all the time. And no, I'm not killing my machine. I've never killed my machine. A friend of mine is actually running currently my old GPU that I overclocked and ran on unlimited for years. My GPU is physically not going to jump out the case, run out the door, and then I have to go and tell him like, yo, can you please come back? Why are you running away? No, you're putting me on unlimited. That's not a thing. You're not going to kill your GPU unless you're doing massive overclocking and I don't know, maybe you overvolting your GPU and stuff like that, yeah, you can kill your GPU. But undervolting your GPU and stuff like that, and not doing overclocks and stuff like that, put this on unlimited and you should be good to go. Leave it here and you should be fine. Alright, scroll down to menu render resolution and put this at native. Pause game, rendering, off, leave it the fuck off and done. Focus mode is, I guess, a cool feature because you put this to 100% and you apply it and you have a secondary monitor. I have two monitors, one on my left, one on my right. They both just went black when I said apply, right? So when I go to 0 and I say apply, I can now see on my left and right hand side screens. All right, so this is if you have other screens as well, you can go ahead and turn them completely black. That's if you're lazy, you can just turn them off. But I don't know, most likely you would like to go on Discord or you would like to watch a YouTube video or whatever the case might be, chat with your friends, leave it on 0 and just fucking leave it here. All right, let's jump straight into the quality tab. Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, we are in the quality tab right now, and I have mine at custom over here. Now, I know a lot of people do go with like either the minimum, basic, balanced, ultra, extreme, or whatever the case might be. You could choose one inside here and you could be good to go, right? But I don't recommend it, and the reason why I don't recommend it is you need to fine-tune your settings, and I'm going to give you the best settings right now for Season 3 Reloaded. Please go ahead and just follow these steps, and I can promise you right now that your game is going to run really, really fucking well. But then you need to listen to me. Change everything that I change to what I recommend you to change it to. And then watch the video right to the end, because there's something very important at the end of my video that I'm going to show you that you're going to need to do for all of these settings to apply. If you don't do it, it's not going to apply to your machine and it won't physically function. Okay, it's like doing all of this and watching all of my video and then you change all these settings, but you don't watch the last part of my video. That's the most important part to do, and then it doesn't apply. Then you're like, wait, this didn't work. It's because you didn't watch my entire fucking video, right? So anyway, so I have it at custom. The reason why I have it at custom is because I started changing things inside here. If you didn't change anything inside here, you won't have a custom option. You'll just have extreme, ultra, balance, basic, and minimum, or reset to recommended, right? Cool. Awesome. You probably won't even have that because you don't have custom yet. Okay, so now we're going to customize it. All right, I run my game at Nvidia DLSS. All right, I don't know why it was on DLAA. This is how I run my game. I'm going to apply it now because this is how I run my game. I run my game at DLSS at quality at 50% with my current GPU that I'm running. I'm running a 4070 Super. All right, now this is the best upscaling for 30 series and upwards. 20 series, right now at this very moment, I would recommend you go with either Intel upscaling in general. I would recommend it to you and go with balanced over here. And please, for the love of fuck, turn this off and apply this. Just say continue and just have this option completely the fuck off. It just kills frames in general. Do not have this option. To be honest with you, I hope Call of Duty removes this bullshit, because it's just bullshit. It's a multiplayer game. We don't need this. We don't need path tracing and shit like that. We don't need it. Even with high-end machines, we do not need this option if it's a multiplayer fucking game. If it was a single-player game, I would understand it, but we're not playing single-player. We are playing multiplayer here. You want to fuck people up and shit like that. You do not want to get frame stuttering or low FPS or your game runs like dog shit. Turn it the fuck off. Turn this the fuck off and done. All right. Now, something I want to mention is anything to do with a 20 series from Nvidia, right? The same components for AMD side, you're going to come here and you're going to go down and you're going to come to AMD FSR 3.0. Now, this applies for Nvidia and AMD. Go with FSR 3.0. It is one of the best upscalings I know right now at this very moment to give you really stable FPS if you're a low-end user to a medium-end user and you don't have the best of components in general. You can go with native, it works perfectly fine at native, or you can either go to balance or performance. Just do not, I repeat, do not put this at ultra performance. Your game's going to look like absolute dog shit and you're going to want to throw your PC out your fucking window. Please don't do that. So balance, you can get away with it, go for it. If you can get away with quality, that's amazing, then select quality. If you can get away with it, you're going to have to play around with these settings. Ladies and gentlemen, you're going to have to play around with it. But native, I would go with native because it will do your native resolution. All right. AMD frame generation is something I just want to recommend to people. I use in Nvidia's frame generation. All right. Here we go. So mine is now on. So if I apply it, I have it on. And if I go to the display and I go to the on plus boost or on, it will now be locked. The reason it will be locked is because I'm using the Nvidia DLSS frame generation over here. Okay. Now, you get it for AMD as well. Can you see AMD is locked now because I'm obviously using it for Nvidia because I have an Nvidia card. But if I disable it, this will come on again. All right. That's for AMD cards. If you have an AMD card, use AMD frame generation. A lot of people has asked me in my comments, yo dude, aren't you getting like input latency and the game feels like stuttery or it feels shit for my Nvidia card? No, it doesn't. And I'm pretty sure for AMD cards, it wouldn't as well. And I know a lot of people out there that's running AMD cards that has AMD frame generation on that actually is AI frames. You don't need to comment down below and tell me what frame generation is. I know what it fucking is, okay? So it's literally AI creating a frame for you. So you have an actual frame, then an AI frame, and then an actual frame. That's just how it works. That's to dumb it down for you, basically. You will do more frames if you put this on. I do more frames when I put this on, and no, I don't get like latency issues, or my game feels like dog trash, or it's unresponsive, or it feels weird. No, it doesn't. It actually fucking doesn't. So I'm just going to turn this off. For you guys out there that has AMD cards, go ahead and turn this on. I highly recommend you go ahead and turn this on. Now, if you don't have a 40 series graphics card and stuff like that, you might not have this option for Nvidia DLSS frame generation for Nvidia cards, right? But AMD gave you the option to do so. So if you're an AMD user and you have an AMD card, go ahead and fucking take advantage of frame generation. Turn it the fuck on. It will give you more FPS. I highly recommend this. I very, very highly recommend it. Okay, go ahead and use it. From here is another upscaling that a lot of people still use, and it's Fidelity FX Cache. Now, Fidelity FX Cache makes the game look really sharp. You're going to have to choose your own personal preference inside here for the strength of Fidelity FX Cache. Now, I leave mine at 50. It's my own personal preference, but you're going to have your own personal preference when it comes to Fidelity FX Cache if you do use this option over here. Now, yet again, for NVIDIA users, you can also go with an NVIDIA image scaling. For NVIDIA users as well, you can go with AMD FSR 3.0, but then just don't use AMD frame generation because you won't have it because you are an NVIDIA user, all right? So go with AMD FSR 3.0, okay? And then you should be good to go even on an NVIDIA graphics card. Just because it says AMD doesn't mean you need to have an AMD graphics card. I just want people to know this because a lot of people ask me this question, so I'm just going to answer it open and honestly. All right, from here, like I said before, a lot of people use NVIDIA image scaling. This is highly recommended for people out there that's running a decent NVIDIA graphics card, like a 2070 Super or something like that upwards. And you're going to go with native. I highly recommend about like 30% on the strength here, but yet again, it's your own personal preference. You go with native, or you go with quality or balanced. Don't go with performance. Game looks like dog shit. So balance, quality. If you can get away with ultra quality, go with ultra quality. But I'm very sure that most people will get away with native over here and run your native resolution and then change your sharpness to your own personal preference. All right. Now, Nvidia LDL-AA is a bunch of dog shit. I don't like this, and I just always skip over this option, and you'll see it with all my previous other videos. I skip over this option because this option over here just in general makes the game look like dog shit. All right. I don't like it. I really don't. Maybe there's people out there that like it. I don't. It's just my own personal preference, and that's just how it is. I use Nvidia DLSS, and this is how I run my game. Now, the VRAM scale target, okay, is something that a lot of people have a big debate about, okay? And a lot of people will be like, yo, dude, like, I have a very low-end GPU. Should I put this up to like 90? Where should I put this? Now, come and explain it to you. If you have anything that has 6 gigs of VRAM, you are going to need to drop this, okay? 6 gigs of VRAM, you're going to need to drop this. You're going to drop this to about 65 like this and press enter. That's 6 gigs, all right? If you have 8 gigs and a newer generation graphics card, you're going to hit 80 here, all right? 80 on the VRAM target. Anything newer than that, newer generation graphics cards with higher VRAM scales, 80. Even if you've got the best GPU with, I don't know, 24 gigs of VRAM, leave it at 80. You do not need to choose 90%. Leave it at 80 and you should be good to go. I can promise you this, just leave it at 80. The reason why I say leave it at 80 is so that you can change other things in the game to get a little bit more, I don't know, quality out of your game. Like for instance, this over here, texture resolution. My GPU with my current machine, my CPU, my GPU, my RAM, I run this at high and I run this at high. Okay, now this is for DLSS. And that's just how I run this. All right. Now, for people out there, like I said, that's running this AMD FSR and running this at native, or they're running anything else over here, I highly recommend when you come down to this over here, put this at low or normal. Okay. Then this one over here, normal as well, or you can go low. If you've got a very low end PC, very low end GPU, go with low here and normal here. If you've got a serious budget gaming graphics card, go with low here as well. Just do not go to very low. I repeat, do not go to very low. It's going to look like you're playing Tetris. Please don't fucking do that. Just leave it at low. There's not a lot of visual difference between low and normal. There's quite a lot of visual difference between normal, or well, low in general, to high, okay? But my GPU can handle it, so I leave it at high. This I also leave at high. But for people out there that needs more FPS, go with normal here and then go with normal here, or go with low here. There is not a lot of visual difference. You're not going to see that much visual difference in general. But for me, right now with my GPU and my machine, I have them both at high. It's your own personal preference you're going to do here, depending on the GPU that you're running. All right. Now what we're going to do is this over here. I'm just going to explain this to you guys as well, is depth of field. Depth of field is something you don't want in a multiplayer game. It's obviously something you don't want. You don't want your screen to blur on the right and left hand sides of your screen while you're aiming down sight. Because then the left and right hand side of your screen becomes a blur and you might not see an enemy and he's going to shoot you in your face and you're going to be upset. And the reason why you're going to be upset is because you have this fucking option on. So turn it the fuck off and leave it the fuck off and done. Alright. Detail quality level. I have mine at high. I don't need to have it at high. And I'm going to show you what I'm using. I go to low over here. This one over here, the particle resolution, I put at very low. I don't need it. Bullet impacts, go ahead and leave it on. It doesn't impact your CPU, doesn't impact your RAM, and it doesn't impact your GPU at all. It doesn't do much to your computer. But this one over here, the effects, turn it the fuck off and leave it the fuck off and done. Shader quality, ladies and gentlemen, is something that I just want to point out to people. You don't need to push this up. You really don't need to. This is at high and this is at low. Now, you don't need to see the water and the crane reflecting on the water because you're not running around looking at the scenery unless you want your game to look really good. You can go with high or medium, but if you want competitive settings and you want your game to boost FPS and you want the most FPS out of your game, go with low here. I will even go with low here, and I'll leave it at low. I don't need to see the fucking reflections on the fucking floor. I want to see the enemies, not reflections of some object in water. I don't need to see it. All right, awesome. Leave it on low. And if someone's standing on a roof and he has a shadow, it will still show the shadow on low as well. It doesn't mean you won't see the shadow anymore because you don't have this on high. You can leave this at low and you'll still see the shadow on the roof above you if you're at the building at the bottom and someone's peeking down at you and looking at your head from above. You'll still see their shadow at low settings. I have tested this, so put this at low and it won't eat your FPS up. All right, on-demand texture streaming, I highly recommend you turn this off, leave it off. It basically downloads textures on the fly to your drive through the internet. Turn it the fuck off and leave it the fuck off. All right, this one over here, just leave it at normal. This I don't play around with, and I don't actually recommend people to play around with it. Just leave it at normal. Right, now as you can see here, everything has changed inside my settings. My shadow and lighting is on ultra high, both high. I can run this, but I'm not going to. I don't want to. It's a multiplayer fucking game. Shadow and lighting eats FPS. It literally hogs your frames away. It takes them away, and you don't need them in a multiplayer game. So, shadow quality, you're going to put it very low. Screen space, shadows, off. Ambient occlusion, not both. You're going to put it at off. Off, always off, leave it the fuck off, and done. Screen space reflections, off. Static reflection quality, low. These things just eat FPS. You want the best FPS possible and the smoothest gameplay possible. Leave it like this, exactly like this, and you should be good to go. Right. All right, here we go with this over here. Tessellation should not be on all. You're going to put this at off. All right. Volumetric quality at low. Right? Your physics quality, you do not need to see the fucking physics in the game. Turn it the fuck off. Weather grid volumes, you do not need to see the weather either in this game. Like, you're not going to land somewhere and be like, wow, look at the rain. No, turn it the fuck off. And then your water quality, off as well. Apply these settings, and ladies and gentlemen, these are the best settings you can use right now for now. We can go over to the view settings, and I'm going to show you my view settings. You can copy these things if you want to. It's your own personal preference. This is how I play my game. I play it at 120 FOV, affected, default, 80% over here, default, off at 0.0% because I don't want my screen to look like a, I don't know, 1970 TV. I really don't want that. Like, just for fuck's sake, just put this at 0.00 and you should be good to go. You don't want a film grain on your game while you are playing. And then I have this at least third person, I have the game perspective, and I have the inverted flash on, where if someone flashbangs me, it goes black instead of white. Especially if you're playing late at night in your room, your whole entire room's gonna go fucking white. Now, if you have this inverted flash on, your room won't go white because the flashbang then goes black in the game. Please take advantage of this. All right, from here, you're gonna come to interface, and you're gonna come inside here. Now, you're going to come to color customization and come to this over here, which is custom, and you're going to have you. This is your own personal color. Then you have your team and you have your party. Please make sure that you have your team and your party the exact same color. So I have my team over there like that. So if I have some random person on my teammate, I have him the exact same color as my team as well. Because if he is some other color, I might just shoot him. Especially if you play ranked play and stuff like that, you can physically kill a teammate. So please just put them on the same color and you should be good to go. Enemy, come here and then actually choose your own personal color. You can customize your own personal color. I have mine as magenta pink right there. You can literally just type that in over there. So it's E87AEB and apply custom color and you'll have yours as magenta pink just like mine. And then I have these colors over here. Now, this over here is another reference and a little own preference to every single person out there. A lot of people play this at color filter 1, 2, or 3. If I click on 3 right now, that's going to go to purple, and I'll just show you that that went to purple right now. Now, a lot of people do prefer the filter 3. I actually don't. The filter 2 is the best option in the game in general for both, for world and interface. So both is on. Filter 2, 100% and 100%, and you're good to go with these settings. Now, the most important step, ladies and gentlemen, that you're going to need to take for all of these settings to apply is this right here. You're going to come to this option over here in the display tab. You're going to come to restart shader preloading. You're going to click on this. You're going to click on restart. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to need to physically do this. Please go ahead and do this. Press escape, press escape, press escape, press escape, and quit to your desktop. Once you completely close the game, I recommend that you reopen the game. Either through Steam or through Battle.net, wherever you are playing your game, reopen the game after you clicked on Restart Shader preloading. You're going to come to your game again, you're going to click on play, and you're going to launch your game. Now, once your game is launched and it's opened up, you're going to see that it's going to start saying at the top left that it's installing shaders. Let it install those shaders and let it finish. Let it go to 100%. Sometimes they get stuck. Just leave it. If it gets stuck, to be honest with you, leave it. And I'll show you now if it's going to do it. I'll show you what happens. I'm just going to show you. There we go. It's at 4%. It's actually moving 7%. Now, sometimes it will show 0% and it won't move. Now, I'm going to show you what you're going to do if it doesn't want to move. Now, let's just say you get to the screen here and it's still at 0%. Okay? You're going to click on skip and just click here or just hover over this. And this is, you see his hand like this? Click on his hand once and let go of your mouse, let go of your keyboard, and watch your shader preloading install. Let it get to 100%, and then when you click on anything here, on the right-hand side, it will say shaders installation complete, and then you are good to go. All right, so basically, once it's done installing the shaders and you click anywhere, let's just go to settings right here, it will say preloading shaders completed. Now you are done. Now you're physically all your settings has been applied to your game, and now you can do whatever the fuck you want to, play whatever the game mode you want to play, and go test out the settings I just gave you. Ladies and gentlemen, if this worked for you, smash the motherfucking like button, leave a comment down below, feel free to join my membership, leave a super thanks if this actually worked for you, if your game's running better, or whatever the case might be. Just smash the motherfucking like button, leave some feedback, leave some comments, whatever the case might be. Ladies and gentlemen, if this worked for you, as always, just here to help the Call of Duty community as best I can, and as always, peace